Dr. Piero Anversa, before joining Harvard, was a professor at New York Medical College in Valhalla. During his tenure there, he collaborated with Bernardo Nadal-Ginard, a former chairman of Boston Children's Hospital's Cardiology Department. Nadal-Ginard had been declared by a U.S. criminal court judge to be a common and notorious thief after misappropriating funds from Boston Children's Heart Foundation. After serving 9 months in jail, Nadal-Ginard resumed his career and became a frequent co-author with Anversa, including on the landmark 2001 Nature paper. He also co-authored 2 New England Journal of Medicine papers later flagged as problematic by a Brigham-Harvard investigation. In 2001, German researcher Bodo Eckhard Strauer became the first scientist to inject a human heart with adult stem cells, claiming a 1/3 improvement in the patient's heart scarring. Anversa's lab at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston soon became a magnet for millions in U.S. government grants. Top journals published his research, and the American Heart Association, AHA, hailed him as a research pioneer. By 2011, however, other scientists were unable to replicate Anversa's findings and grew suspicious that data and images were being manipulated. Concerns were reported to Brigham officials, who, after nearly 6 years of investigation, determined that 31 papers authored by Anversa and his collaborators contained falsified and/or fabricated data. Dr. Roberto Bali of the University of Louisville, a collaborator of Anversa's, served on 6 NIH grant review panels that funded stem cell research on hearts. Mark Sussman, a biologist at San Diego State University, served on 8 such NIH committees while publicly praising Anversa as a pioneer in the concept of the heart as a regenerative organ. Between 2001 and 2021, Anversa, Bali, and Sussman became 3 of the top 20 principal researchers receiving NIH funding for adult stem cell heart research. Anversa received $45 million, Bali $59 million, and Sussman $35 million, accounting for over 1/3 of the $387 million allocated to the top 20 investigators in this field. Bali also served as editor-in-chief of Circulation Research from 2009 to 2019, while Joseph Lo Scalzo, another Anversa collaborator and the chair of Brigham's Department of Medicine since 2005, was the editor of Circulation between 2004 and 2016. A review by Reuters found that Circulation Research and Circulation published hundreds of articles on cardiac adult stem cell research, including more than 300 citing Anversa's work. In April 2017, the U.S. Justice Department concluded a civil settlement with Brigham, stating that Anversa's lab had relied on the fabrication of data and images to secure government grants and engaged in reckless or deliberately misleading record-keeping. Brigham and Women's Hospital paid $10 million to settle these allegations. Since then, the scandal has been largely buried, especially at Brigham and Harvard. Will history repeat itself if left unaddressed? Perhaps. If Dr. Piero Anversa opened a wrong door, then Dr. James Thomas closed a right one. Interestingly, both are from Harvard. While the former's misdeeds were eventually addressed, albeit belatedly, the latter's work remains unchallenged, at least so far. The left ventricular diastolic time constant, tau, is the most established index used to describe diastolic function. In 1992, Dr. James Thomas from Massachusetts General Hospital, Harvard, published a formula for measuring tau in an echo lab. Embarrassingly, this formula was based on 4 bold and entirely unnecessary assumptions. These assumptions undermined the integrity of the theory, yet it was clinically verified at the Cleveland Clinic and published in Circulation. This so-called verification propelled the formula into the American Society of Echocardiography, ASE, textbooks and guidelines, where it remains today. After several unsuccessful private attempts to address this issue, I wrote a public letter in 2009 questioning the validity of the formula. Unfortunately, no serious debate followed, and the problem was not resolved. In 2019, we attempted to demonstrate why the Harvard method for calculating tau is flawed by exposing the logical inconsistencies in the theory. However, it appears that the influence of prominent names in the field keeps mainstream journals from engaging with the issue. So, the first question is this Harvard tau formula a scandal? You don't need to be a tau expert to see the absurdity. Anyone can try the formula themselves, and they'll find it leads nowhere. Tau equals IVRT/LNSBPLNLAP. You can't verify a logically flawed theory by making unintentional mistakes. Verification would require manipulated data. The second question is, given that ASE's guidelines and textbooks are the most influential worldwide, has the Harvard tau formula become like the emperor's new clothes? The research projects based on this theory are clearly built on a faulty foundation, yet the parade continues. Dr. James Thomas. No one knows your tau formula better than you. We all want to hear from you to resolve this issue once and for all. You've often been called an echo god, a legend, a guru, a mentor, and we all enjoy your lectures. But it's time to let tau go by retracting your flawed theory.
Ask important questions and answer them carefully. Okay, I can't argue with that.
Dr. Peter van der Voort, verification of a logically flawed theory is impossible without data manipulation. Strangely, you have never published anything about tau before or after your so-called verification. Is that truly your paper? Please communicate with us.
And without communication, if you do not get feedback, if there's no information that is being exchanged, even the fanciest of all our smartphones becomes a useless device.